Hello, this is Cora from the Holler to the World, and this is my cousin, Gene Bricky. Our dads are brothers. We're brothers. We've both gone on to heaven now, both of them, and Gene comes down to take a vacation every now and then, and we get together, and he and C all play a little golf, and I just wanted Gene to tell you some stories, old Kentucky stories he knows about the Hollers, and about Grandma Teal and Grandma Bricky, and so we want to do this so if any of the grandkids ever get on, they can know something about where we lived. And so take it away, Gene. Tell us some story.
A gentleman lived right above Grandma Bricky. His name was Merle McGinnis. He had a couple of horses. It was pretty wild horses and stuff. And Dad was noted to be a pretty good little horseman back in his day. So he hopped on one of the horses and took off. And Merle hollered at him and said, "Bring that horse back here, it'll kill you." He said, "That's all right." He said, "Felsy's got enough boys, she won't miss me." And kept on riding.
And now Felsy is our grandma.
That's our grandmother, Bricky, yes.
She lived over there on Hurricane.
On Hurricane, yeah.
Which really is Hurricane, but
yeah, but we call it Hurricane.
yeah, in LA County you gotta say Hurricane.
Yeah.
And she lost Grandpa Bricky when she was probably in her late 40s, wasn't she?
Yeah, he died in 1949.
Yeah, the year I was born. So we never did get to know him. You were born that year too.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Grandma Bricky still lived there and raised 14 kids.
She had 14 kids. She had one child die. If I'm not mistaken, he was in between, I believe it was Dad and Ellis.
I think so. His name was Clyde, I
Clyde,
think. Clyde,
yes.
yeah.
And Dad always told me she always grieved for the one she lost.
Yeah, I don't think you ever get over it.
Yeah.
But your dad was Dennis.
Yes.
He was one of the younger ones. My dad was Victor, who's one of the older ones.
One of the older ones, yes.
So.
And we always enjoyed visiting.
Yeah. He'd come up to the farm up on Kansas Creek where I lived.
Yes, yeah. I always loved coming up there and then going down to Granny Teal's and watch her chew the tobacco and
spit on the hearth.
And spit on the cat.
Mommy would make us go down there every so often and clean up that hearth. We had to go down there and help her out. Yeah.
Yeah,
go
and
down
that
there.
tobacco in her apron there, and she'd crumble it up and put it in that old pot and smoke it.
Yeah. Or chew it. She had a big chaw on her jaw.
Yeah, she made her own twist. She'd go over in the barn and make her own twist.
Yeah, she did. She was our great grandmother.
Yeah.
Her name, we called her Grandma Teal, but
Granny
she
Teal.
was Martilia.
Yes.
But and then we'd go over to your house and eat those hot dogs.
Yeah.
And
you haven't made the sauce
no,
yet.
it's a secret recipe. I got to get you to
recipe.
refresh my mind, but it's a secret recipe from
All right.
his grandmother on his mom's side owned a drive-in restaurant. And
my aunt Lyd, she
Your
had
aunt?
That, yes, she had it built it in '55. And,
wow.
stayed
Had the
there
best
for a
hot
long
dogs
time.
in the world.
Yes, they were good. Good food there.
Yeah,
Good
and his
food.
mama had a beauty shop, and she'd let us
in
go
the
down there
house,
and tinker around and play. And
Yeah. I can still smell them permanents.
oh yeah, run you out the back door.
Yeah.
But we had a good time growing up and being in the hills, and have been able to stay in touch a little bit.
Yeah, like we were talking, you were here for years before I even knew you were down here, and I was coming down here to Emerald Isle. You know, so it was good to get together.
Yeah. Family needs to visit with each other every now and then.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And both our dads love the Lord, and especially your dad. I remember he had the job of saying the blessing over the food, and he'd always talk about salvation because he had a burden for his brothers and sisters. Everybody would get in.
Thought of his family.
Yeah.
He turned out to be one of the most meek men, and I've always thought for all of them that come from there, look at all of them that has actually been religious.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
he had a big
might have been
influence on us.
might have been in later life sometimes for some of them, but just about all.
Because there wasn't churches. I mean, they're really growing up where they grew up in the head of the holler. They're really just maybe a church every now and then, or once a month or something.
Dad always said when they went to the pie slippers, it was always a fight.
There was a fight.
If Uncle Clifford went to Sandy Hook, and they stayed the weekend, he said it used to be really crowded, back in the 40s and 50s. That if Uncle Cliff didn't have a fight before he got away from there, he didn't have a good weekend. No.
Well, we've enjoyed getting to spend a few minutes and be together. We're getting ready to go get some lunch now and enjoy this year's vacation and maybe again next year. So If you like this, like and subscribe, and I'll be back with lots more stories. And we love you, and goodbye.